Hello students, we have learnt mathematics even before joining school. That is, the first learning of mathematics is from the learning of counting. How do we count? Yes, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So, we use natural numbers for counting. That is why it is called as counting numbers. So, the system of natural numbers is called as counting numbers and it is denoted as capital N. So, n is a set of natural numbers which start with 1, 2, 3 and goes on. What is the last natural number? What is the number with which it ends? Can you say? No, we cannot end natural numbers. So, natural numbers is a set of numbers starting with 1, but it is an infinite set. It has no end. So, it is an infinite set. So, we can say like this: natural number is a set of numbers 1, 2, 3 etc. ellipses. So, it is an infinite set. If we need to have 0, what do we do? Yes, we have whole numbers. Whole numbers start with 0 and 1, 2, 3 it goes on. It is also an infinite set. So, that is whole numbers is denoted by the letter W. So, whole numbers is nothing but 0, 1, 2 etc. So, we can say that natural number is the subset of whole numbers. So, we can represent natural number using this Venn diagram, and whole numbers can be represented as a superset, as it includes all the numbers which are in natural numbers. Okay, next comes, yes, you know, that is integers. Integers is a set of all natural numbers. It includes whole numbers and also negative of the natural numbers. That is, it includes negative numbers. Okay. So, this is represented as Z. And one more thing, including fractions. If we want to include fractions, we have the next number system which is called as rational numbers. Yes, you know all these very well. The numbers which are not coming in the rational numbers, you know that very well, you have learnt in 9th standard. What system? Yes, that is irrational number system. Irrational number system comes as a separate set, that is, it is a disjoint set. All these come under the set of, yes, set of real numbers. All these, we name these as real numbers. So, we have learnt all the fundamental operations for real numbers. First, we have learnt for natural numbers and then for whole numbers and so on. What are the 4 fundamental operations? Can you name? Yes, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. These are the 4 fundamental operations for any system of numbers we have learnt. Now, I will give you an example. You are going to say what fundamental operation we are going to use for this example. Now, if I have 10 chocolates and there are 5 children in front of me, I want to distribute these chocolates equally to all those 5 children. What shall I do? I have to give how many chocolates? Yes, very good. 2 chocolates to each child. So, yes, all the 5 students get 2 chocolates each, and in my hand there is nothing. No chocolate is remaining in my hand. So, what operation we use here is otherwise called as division, distributing equally. Okay. So, here we have divided 10 by 5 and got the quotient as 2. Is there any chocolate remaining in my hand? Nothing. So, the remainder is 0. Very good. If I take any other number, like if I have 11 chocolates, I will distribute as 5 into 2 plus 1. Okay. So, here 1 is a remainder. What are the other numbers representing? 1, 2, 5 and 11, all are numbers which I have taken for division. So, here if I name 11 and 5, 11 and 5 were the first numbers I have given, that is, they are fixed. So, if I take 11 as A and 5 as B, if 11 is A and 5 is b, what happens to 2? What is this 2? Yes, 2 is the quotient. And what is this 1? 1 is a remainder. Very good. So, we have got a statement using letters. The statement is nothing but a restating of long division method. So, this is otherwise called as Euclid's division lemma. Euclid is a person who have given this statement, and this is named as Euclid division lemma because it happens to use division. So, Euclid's division lemma. What do you mean by lemma? So, lemma is a new word for us. So, here lemma is nothing but it is a statement or auxiliary theorem which is used to prove another important theorem, or you can say this as a small theorem. Okay. As this deals with division, this is called as Euclid's division lemma. Now, we are going to learn about the lemma. Using this lemma, we are going to arrive at one more algorithm, that is a procedure. Okay. In this class, we are going to learn about Euclid's division lemma and the algorithm. Using the algorithm, we are going to find out the HCF of numbers. Okay. See, we are going to define these letters, that is A is equal to BQ plus R is the lemma stated here, where A and B are positive integers and Q is a quotient, R is a remainder. So, Q may be any positive integer or Q may be 0, but what happens to R? Yes, we have to state about R. R should be lying between 0 and B, but it should not be equal to B, that is 0 less than or equal to R less than B, that is R is always less than the divisor. Okay. So, this statement is given first for the positive integers. So, if R is 0, what happens? You are going to think. If R becomes 0, what happens? Yes, think it of. Yes, A is equal to BQ, R becomes 0. So, A is equal to BQ, that means A is a multiple of B, A is a multiple of B, okay. Or we can say that B divides A, B is a divisor of A, okay. If R is not equal to 0, A is not divisible by B and B is not the divisor of A if R is not equal to 0. Let us take an integer. We can state any integer using this division lemma dividing by 2. If you divide any integer by 2, you will get the remainder as 0 or 1, because the remainder will never become 2 or more than 2. That is, here the divisor is 2. So, if the divisor is 2, that is if B is 2, for any integers A is equal to 2Q plus 0 or A is equal to 2Q plus 1. Will you get A is equal to 2Q plus 2? No, because B is 2, our R should be less than B. So, A is equal to 2Q plus 0 or simply 2Q, or A is equal to 2Q plus 1. So, any integer can be of the form 2Q or 2Q plus 1. If the integer is of the form 2Q, then it is divisible by 2, or we can say that it is an even number. If it gets a remainder 1, it is said to be the odd number. It is not divisible by 2 and it is the odd number. This lemma was recorded first in Euclid's Elements, volume 7. It was first given for positive integers only, but it can be generalized for any integers. That is, if A and B are any two integers wherever A is greater than B, then you can say that A is equal to BQ plus R. With the same lemma, we have some limitations. That is, B should never be 0. B should not be equal to 0 because it is meant for all integers which include 0. So, B should not be 0. Why? Because b is a divisor. We cannot divide any number by 0. So, b can never be 0. And then r, what happens to r? R should be, yes, greater than or equal to 0, and one more thing, it should be less than the numerical value of b, because b may be negative, but we have to take the numerical value of b and r should be less than that value, because r should be always non-negative. It may be 0 or it may be any positive integer. So, for any two integers a and b, b should never be 0 and r will be lying between 0 and numerical value of b, that is one less than the numerical value of b. So, a is equal to bq plus r can be used or can be generalized for any natural numbers, integers, whole numbers. See, if a and b are fixed as 13 and 3, we are going to write the lemma for these two numbers. How do you write? We are going to divide 13 by 3. So, 3 4s are 12, remainder is 1. So, this long division method can be restated as 13 is equal to, yes, 3 is b and q is 4 plus 1 is a remainder. So, 13 can be restated as 3 into 4 plus 1. So, this is the application of Euclid's division lemma. And here, one more thing we have to keep in mind, r is always non-negative. So, always this bq will be less than or equal to that a. Okay, can you understand what I say? This bq, the product of b and q, will be equal to a or less than a. We have to keep that in mind, because we are going to apply that property here. So, minus 15 can be restated as 4 into something plus this r. Fill in this blank, 4 into, so automatically you will say that 4 into 3 or minus 3, yes, 4 into minus 3. What happens to 4 into minus 3? Minus 12, but minus 12 is not less than minus 15. We have to take the product as less than this a. So, what number should be replaced? Here, minus 4, that is 4 into minus 4 becomes minus 16, which is less than minus 15. So, we have to be careful while writing the lemma for negative numbers. So, minus 16 plus 1 becomes minus 15, and our criteria about r also is satisfied now. R is non-negative. Okay. So, this lemma can be restated for these two numbers as minus 15 is equal to 4 into minus 4 plus 1. Here a is negative, b is positive, q is also negative, but r remains as non-negative. So, keep that in mind. Okay. See, the first question is, find the positive integers which give remainder 2 on dividing by 3. If a number is divided by 3, so the divisor is 3. So, divisor is named as b. b is 3 now. So, we are going to find our a. Find the positive integers. So, a may be, yes, more than one number. See, when divided by 3, the remainder may be 0, 1 or 2. So, we will be writing the lemma as a is equal to bq plus r, where b is 3 and we do not know the q, and remainder may be 0 or 1 or 2. Here the remainder is given as 2. So, the remainder should be taken as 2 now. So, we are going to leave those two other cases. So, here the remainder is 2. So, we have got an equation as a is equal to 3q plus 2. Here q may take any value. As we need positive integer, we are going to substitute the values of q as 0, 1, 2, etc. If q is 0, what happens to a? If q is 0, a becomes, yes, a is equal to 3 into 0, 0 plus 2. So, a becomes 2. if Q is equal to 1, what happens to A? So, A becomes 3 plus 2. So, A is equal to 3 plus 2, which is 5. If Q is equal to 2, what happens? Yes, 3 2s are 6 plus 2, 8. So, A will get the values as 2, 5, next value is 8, yes. So, adding 3 we can get the values of A. So, the numbers which give remainder 2 while divided by 3 are, so the numbers are, yes, 2, 5, 8, etc. See the next sum. There are 532 parts in all. We are going to place 21 parts per row. See, you are going to find how many rows are there and how many parts are left over. So, we are going to use the long division method. So, 532 should be divided by 21. So, divide, yes, 2 into 21 is 42 and 11 is the remainder, 2 is been carried over. So, here 5 into 21 is 105 and the remainder is 7. So, we can replace this as 532 is equal to 21 into 25 plus 7. That means 25 is the quotient and 7 is the remainder, which is said as 25 rows are there in total and 7 parts are left over. So, 25 rows and 7 left over. See this sum. We are going to prove that the product of two consecutive integers is divisible by 2. What do you mean by consecutive integers? Yes, an integer and the next number. So, if you name the integer as x, let us name the integers as x and y itself. So, let the integers be x and y. Okay. So, for any two consecutive integers, we have the form, one will be odd, the other will be even, or if the first one is even, the other will be odd. So, we are going to use those two cases. If the first integer is odd, that is if x is odd, what happens to y? Yes, y is even. How will you name that even number? Any even number can be written in the form 2k. So, while you multiply these two, we get x into y. Y is 2k, which is 2 into kx or 2q, where q is kx. So, this is divisible by 2. So, if you take the other case, if the first x is even, if x is even, yes, it has the form x is equal to 2q. Okay. We do not bother about y, y is odd. So, if you multiply x and y, it becomes 2q into y or 2 into qy, which means this is divisible by 2. So, the product of any two consecutive integers is always divisible by 2. Let us go to the next sum. See this now. A, B, C leave remainders 9, 7 and 10 respectively when divided by 13. Prove that A plus B plus C is divisible by 13. Now, let us use the lemma now. A is equal to, A leaves remainder 9 when divided by 13. So, 13 is our divisor. Let us name the quotient as Q1 because there are 3 cases, plus the remainder is 9. B is another number which leaves remainder 7 when divided by 13. So, we are going to write this as 13 Q2 plus 7. C is a number which gives remainder 10. So, 13 while divided by 13. So, 13 Q3 plus 10. We have to prove that A plus B plus C is divisible by 13. So, what shall we do now? Yes, we are going to add all these 3 equations. So, it becomes A plus B plus C. in the left side. What happens to the right side? This is 13q1 plus 13q2 plus 13q3. We can write factoring out 13 and q1 plus q2 plus q3. Can you understand this? We are taking 13 out as a factor and then adding all these numbers we get 26. Yes, you say that 26 is also, yes, is a multiple of 13. So, 26 can be split as 2 into 13. So, 13 into q1 plus q2 plus q3, here is 1, 2. So, we can name this as q and write it as 13q. So, now a plus b plus c becomes 13q, which means a plus b plus c is a multiple of 13. So, a plus b plus c is divisible by 13 is proved. Now, using this Euclid's division lemma, children, we are going to perform an activity using this chart. Okay. So, I have brought a chart which is a rectangle. It is a rectangle in shape whose length and breadth are 12 and 8 units. Now, we are going to find out the divisors of 12 and 8, that is a common divisor of 12 and 8. What do you mean by common divisor? Yes, that should be divided by 12 and 8. Yes. So, we are going to find out further which is the greatest common divisor, that is GCD or HCF. First, let us begin from 1. So, we are going to take a 1 unit square. So many 1 unit squares can be used to fill this rectangle. See, I have filled this rectangle with so many 1 unit squares. It fills in exactly. So, 1 is a divisor of both 8 and 12. Let us fill in rectangle with 2 unit squares. See, this is a 2 unit square. So, we can fill this rectangle exactly with 2 unit squares without leaving any tiles remaining and without leaving any rectangle part remaining. So, it fills exactly. So, we can say that 2 is a divisor of both 8 and 12. Now, let us go with 3. So, we are going to fill this rectangle with 3 unit tiles. So, 3 unit squares are filling this breadth side now, that is, yes, the tile remains. So, it is not dividing exactly. So, 3 is not the common divisor. Okay. Shall we move on to 4? Now, look at this rectangle, it is completely filled with 4 unit squares. So, no unit square is remaining and no part of the rectangle is remaining. So, it is completely exactly fitted with 4 unit squares. So, what do you mean by this? 4 is a common divisor for 8 and 12. Yes, very good. Can we move on to 5? Yes, you will say that yes, 5 will give a remainder because this part 8 side. So, if you fill with 5 unit square, this part will remain, and if you take 6 unit square, this part will remain, and if you take 7 unit square, this part will remain. Okay. Okay, let us take 8 unit square. See, 8 unit square will occupy this space and this part will be remaining. So, we cannot go further because 8 is the least number we have taken. For 8 and 12, 8 may not be the common divisor, 7 may not be the common divisor, 6 no, 5 no. What about 4? Yes, we have got that 4 is the largest number which divides both the numbers without leaving remainder. So, 4 is our HCF. This is got using our Euclid's division lemma. We further move on to an algorithm where we are going to find the HCF using a procedure. What do you mean by an algorithm? Algorithm is a procedure, step by step procedure, which we perform to get a final result. Now, look at the algorithm. If you want to find the HCF of A and B, first let us apply Euclid's division lemma to A and B. We are in general conventionally we are going to take A as a greater number. So, A can be written as A is equal to B cube plus R. If R is 0, we are going to stop here and we are going to say that B is a HCF. If R is not 0, we have to proceed with R and B. That is, we apply Euclid's division lemma to B and R as B is equal to RQ1 plus R1. Here R1 should be less than R. Okay. Now, if R1 is 0, we stop here and we say that R is a HCF. If R1 is not 0, we are going to proceed, repeat the process and find the HCF. This algorithm will stop somewhere. The place where it stops, we find the divisor as a HCF. Can you understand finding HCF using Euclid's division algorithm? Let us do a sum. Let us take two numbers 15 and 12. Find the HCF using this algorithm. We are going to take 15 as A. So, we can take 15 is equal to 12 into 1 plus 3. Dividing 15 by 12, we get the quotient 1 and remainder 3. We will be writing this algorithm. So, here R is not 0. Here 3 is not equal to 0. So, we are going to proceed further. So, we are going to use this remainder and the divisor to perform the division lemma. So, 12 is equal to 3 into 4 plus 0. Here R becomes 0. So, we stop here. We end the process and say that the divisor 3 is a HCF. The divisor 3 is our HCF of 15 and 12. So, we can write HCF of 15 and 12 as 3. This can be used for any number, any two numbers. Why? Any three numbers also. These are to be dealt in the next sessions. Thank you, children.